On your tables, there are 2 copies, write-ups of the Daniel B. Woodruff Memorial Scholarship. Feel free to share those with each other. He was an extraordinary young man. Students cannot apply for this particular scholarship. Unlike most scholarships where they do apply, there's an application form. For the Woodruff Scholarship, the students cannot. Rather than that, the faculty and staff of the Burnham Center get together each semester and knock heads and try to figure out who should receive this particular honor, then we just go directly to them. It's supposed to personify Dan Woodruff and his life. Dan died after a 2-year battle with cancer after he graduated from USD. You can read about that in the program. Dan was a bright guy, but what we're looking for is not just a bright person, not guy, man or woman, but more than that, because USD attracts a lot of very intelligent, very personable young individuals. So they have to have something special about them. There has to be a special story. Brad Flewellen was our unanimous choice for this honor in the spring of 2009. We didn't give one out last semester, but in the spring of 2009. And I just want to tell you for a minute or two why he received this honor. Brad was the most well-prepared student at that any of us have ever seen in the program. At company events, for example, that are sponsored for our graduate students, he learned not only about the company that he was going to go visit, and this was with all the graduate students, but also learned about the markets they served, the competitors they had, the challenges that particular firm faced. He also, in class, asked very probing questions that went far beyond what the lecturer generally presented to the class. In job interviews, what I've been told is that he seemed to know more about the companies that he was interviewing with than the recruiters knew about their own company. His background prior to entering our MSRE program included more than 10 years in banking and commercial real estate finance, including commercial and investment acquisitions and development, institutional banking and conduit banking, loan structuring, underwriting, and due diligence. He earned his BA in business at Morehouse College in Atlanta. He graduated with high honors. Then eventually he came around to our MSRE program, where again he graduated with honors, which is no surprise. When he applied for a job with the FDIC, there were 1,700 applications that came in for 3 positions. It came down to him being one of those 3 people selected by the FDIC. He was on tough duty this week in Hawaii, where he is a loan reviewer, and flew back last night, had a quick nap, changed clothes. He said he's a little bit tired this morning, but he was able to fly down here from San Francisco this morning. For the bankers in the audience, I've got 2 comments. For the bankers in the audience, if Brad is one of the people that comes in to review your loan portfolio, you better be well prepared, because you know he will be extremely well prepared. If you're not a banker, just sit back, relax, and enjoy meeting Brad Flewellen, the 16th winner of our Daniel B. Woodruff Memorial Scholarship.
All right. Well, thank you for all the kind words, Dr. Reedy. I really appreciate that. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure to be here before you as the Daniel B. Woodruff Scholarship recipient. I must say that this is the second time that I've addressed a crowd as a scholarship recipient. The first time was at a policy advisory board meeting where the venue was a lot smaller. And I'd like to thank everybody here for wanting to come out and learn a lot more about the Woodruff Scholarship and its recipient. I realize that Sam Zell is here and that we've had a fantastic panel, but we all know that the Woodruff Scholarship is the reason for the 700 people in this room. So, no, but as Dr. Reedy had mentioned, I am extremely grateful for what the University of San Diego has done for me and all the opportunities that it has awarded me. In May of 2008, I received some very unfortunate news about a family member that made moving back to California, a very high priority. At that time, I was on the East Coast and had been on the East Coast for 12 years, working in Washington, D.C. as an investment associate, but really had no particular plans to coming back home until I received this news. Understanding where the market was at that particular time, I realized that there was going to be a difficult road ahead in terms of transitioning from the East Coast to the West Coast. The job market was not that strong. The commercial real estate market, where my expertise is, was, as you all know, was failing and was falling fast. So I knew that in order to pull this off, I was going to need some help. So I began to look for MSRE programs on the West Coast, and I settled on San Diego, not only because of the curriculum, but more importantly because of the people and the Vernon Moore Center, the support staff and faculty that I found that had a better interest in me and my success and me being able to land a job than any other program that was out there. And sure enough, from day one, the faculty and staff was there to motivate me, to give me any opportunities that they had for an interview or to get in front of people to be able to hopefully land a position somewhere in San Francisco, in the San Francisco Bay Area. And it didn't come without a lot of hard work and a lot of determination and a lot of perseverance. I can recall that over my Christmas break, I spent the majority of my time just cold calling people and just sitting in lobbies until people would talk to me, hopefully trying to find a place where I could be employed. After having a few weeks of that not be successful, I then turned to the FDIC, where I submitted, the application, which was quite lengthy. I mean, to be honest with you, it was 10 pages online. So I think their strategy was to wear you down, and whoever lasted through the application, they might have a fighting chance. But in any event, I submitted my application and hadn't heard anything for a few months. And I recall going to our law class, where Professor Gallupo was the instructor. And he could tell that something was bothering me, that, that I was starting to wear down a little bit, after at that time it had been 7 months of just pounding the pavement, trying to see what was out there. And I was starting to not give up, because I've never been a quitter, but I was starting to think that, I might have gotten myself in a situation that I can't necessarily get out of. But he reminded me, why I was here. He reminded me, what it meant to be in my position and the skills that I had, and that, he reinforced the fact that, yes, you are a marketable candidate and you should be able to go out there and land a job and to not give up. Well, as it would go, I kind of, just continued on with other job applications, kind of put the FDIC in the back of my mind and, just continued on, and one day I got a phone call for an interview, and I happened to be in San Francisco, so I was able to interview. And so, again, I was inspired, I was excited, I was like, maybe this is a chance, because at that time I had no other offers and I had been really working hard. But lo and behold, the FDIC was silent. And it was that painful silence that kind of makes you worry, like, man, am I ever going to get a job? But again, I was reminded by, Professor Gallupo, Dr. Reedy, and the staff that really supported me and really made sure that, I kept an optimistic outlook. And before you know it, I would get that call and I would get that offer. And 2 weeks following graduation, I would begin my career as a loan review specialist at the FDIC. So being here in front of you all means a lot to me, not just as a Woodruff Scholarship recipient, but it means a lot because I represent, a center, a university that really cares for its students, and I'm living proof of that. They didn't have to go the extra mile to make contacts. They didn't have to reach into, their personal contacts to try to, get myself and, my other colleagues and my other peers, interviews. They understood how tough it was, and they rolled up their sleeves and did everything they could to find us opportunities for employment. And, with a little bit of help on our end, I think that the majority of our classmates landed positions in a jobless economy, which is quite an accomplishment and really speaks highly of the career placement and all of the faculty and staff at the Vernon Moore Center. So as great as those comments were, Dr. Reedy, I have to give a lot of credit to the people that supported me the most. Dr. Miller, Dr. Kraft, Lauren Lukens, Professor Gallupo, Dr. Reedy, Dr. John Ferber, all of those in the Vernon Moore Center who really took an interest, not in just my personal or professional career, but in the careers of everybody that attended that program. So I can't say too much more than thank you. Thank you for everything that you have done, and I really appreciate your hard work, and I am definitely glad to represent the Bornemoor Center and the Daniel B. Woodruff Scholarship. So thank you, Dr. Reedy.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you. Good evening. Just a phenomenal young man. Listening to him speak, thinking at his age I would have mumbled my way through that. Brad, thank you. You did such a great job.